Hi, welcome back to this week's SEL Spotlight. This is Mrs. Gonzalez, thanking you for watching. Today we're focusing on expressing ideas or opinions constructively. We'll go ahead and get started here. Have you ever heard of the word constructive? Maybe you have, or maybe you haven't, but this word means helping to improve or promoting further development or advancement. So today we're focusing on expressing ideas as a way that helps promote further development or advancement. In other words, we'll be discussing how to express opinions in a positive way. Excuse me. Why is this topic so important? Well, I'll give you the answer. It's important because positive relationships with those around us, and we've touched on this before, but those positive relationships with those around us leads to an improved sense of well-being, physically, emotionally, and mentally. Meaning the better you get along with those around you, the better you feel about yourself. So listen carefully here to my example. Two scholars are riding home on the bus one day. Suddenly, one of them points out and says, "Look at the dog with one eye." The other scholar quickly covers one eye and says, "Where? I don't see a dog." That was funny. Hopefully you got a little chuckle out of that. But I wanted to use that example to point out that even when people are communicating well, sometimes misunderstandings still happen. And oftentimes this miscommunication doesn't happen on purpose, and it's done to it isn't done to mislead or to hurt anyone. It really is sort of accidental. And when they do happen, remember that it's important to laugh, right? So keep this advice in mind as we put our communication skills to the test today, okay? Have you ever heard of the word debate? Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. And if you're in front of your computer, you are more than welcome to Google it to find out what it is. What does a debate mean? So think about that for a moment. What is a debate? Some questions for you. Is a debate, or I should say, is an argument and a debate the same? What is the purpose of a debate? What debates have you heard of or seen? Can you think of any examples of a debate? And how would you describe the types of behavior that are normally exhibited by participants in a debate? Think about these questions for a bit. And if you're Googling it, you can maybe see if you can find the answers to these. Well, I always give you the answers. So an argument is actually usually private. It's an informal discussion between two people about something personal. A debate is more formal in that it has rules, and it usually becomes like a public event. And the purpose of a debate is to give or to express reasons for and against something and present both sides of an issue. Most students will probably cite candidates running for public office who have debated each other on television as an example, but there's other examples of debates, right? Sometimes we see them on college campuses or even high school campuses for people who are running for office. Typically, it has to do kind of with the running for office position. And then participants in a debate are mindful of the debate's rules, and they respect differing opinions and calmly explain their side of the issue. So as we can see, debates and arguments, very different, right? So do you think it's possible to communicate effectively with someone you disagree with? Remember those assertive behaviors that we learned about in previous SEL spotlights? Here are some that I'm going to refresh your memory with, but it's important to note that these behaviors that you learned about previously come into play here, okay? So let's go over some of these that we went over before. So it's using words that show that you're responsible for what you're saying, being open, honest, and direct with what you're saying what you want or need clearly and calmly. Be sure that your body language and your words are sending the same message. And then using good listening skills and asking clarifying questions to separate opinion from fact. So when you're disagreeing with someone, it's important to note that these assertive behaviors are going to support you in communicating effectively. Remember that using passive-aggressive or passive-aggressive behavior when you're disagreeing can oftentimes, lead to negative reactions in other people. Do you remember why? So, next time that you have a disagreement, what is the best way to go about expressing your opinion? We talked about the assertive behaviors, right? But really my best advice is to approach that disagreement or that discussion as if you were having a debate. Earlier, when we thought about what debates look like, I hope that you picked up on the fact that debates have rules and they must be observed, right? So I challenge you to observe some rules next time that you have a disagreement with someone and see how things go for you, okay? And here are some. Obviously this list is not exhaustive. You could find an entire list of debate rules and regulations, but here are some to get you started, and I hope that you'll take on the challenge, like I said, next time that you have a disagreement. So number one, you have, this is the rules, right? Only one person may speak at a time. Speakers must alternate from one side to the other, meaning, one person speaks, then the other person gets a turn, and then the other person gets a turn. Speak your ideas assertively, and you can refer back to the list that we showed earlier, just a few seconds ago, if you want to refresh your memory as far as what that assertively piece looks like. Actively listen. This is going to be key. Sometimes when we're listening to somebody else, their point of view, and it differs from ours, we're thinking about what we're going to say. And really, that takes away from actively listening because our mind is thinking about what we're going to say instead of listening attentively to what that person is saying. So this here is key. And then lastly, if you have more than one person that's involved, do not request to speak until everyone has had a chance to talk. So don't request to speak until the person speaking also has finished, okay? And as you grow older, I think you're going to begin to see that you're developing your own opinions about things. And you may find that your disagreements will happen more often. I'm not sure if you noticed that. But please know that it's okay to disagree with others. And sometimes you find that you will just simply agree to disagree. Okay, and that's okay. What's not okay is to be disrespectful to others when you have a disagreement. So it's really important that you maintain that respect so that you maintain those positive working relationships with those around you. And two key points that I hope that you walk away with today is number one, effective communication skills are necessary when expressing your opinions, and that's going to be for the rest of your life. And then number two, you can improve your communication skills by using them. So taking on those challenges to use those different pointers next time you have a disagreement, using those assertive behaviors, all those things in your communication skills, the more you practice, the better you get at them. So I hope that you found today's SEO Spotlight useful to you. And I do want to thank you for joining us once more. This is Mrs. Gonzalez saying adios and see you.